Hey everyone, I'm Sultan over here, and in this video I'm gonna be revisiting my old tier list. So here's how it's gonna work. I'm gonna place the new characters in, and then I'm gonna make adjustments to my old placements and explain what has changed. I'm gonna address a few characters that will continue to be in place, then that I think I should address. So yeah, let's go. Okay, first of all, King as you. I think he is probably the best current physical attacker in the game. He has one big advantage over two units that you can immediately compare him to. And okay, first of all, Super Stern, because they're both dark. Uh, Kane is a Pierce unit, and it is much harder to resist Pierce damage over slash damage. Um, Pierce resistance gear is non-existent, I believe. A helmet should be coming out next week, I believe, whenever we get the Final Fantasy XIV raid. And after that, we'll be getting the what's it called? After Final Fantasy XIV raid, we'll be getting the Siren raid, which will be get which will give us an accessory that also gives pierce resistance. But even then, I don't know a lot of Vespers that you spec into pierce resist. I can think of Igaion off the top of my head, but other than Igaion, I don't think I can remember a single one that offers pierce resistance. And the other unit that he can immediately be compared to is Glacial and other spear users like Victor. He has the downside of having to charge his jumps, but that can also be a positive because you can avoid damage while in the air. Uh, Kane is tankier than both of them, I believe. He dies in one holy uh, if it's cast by a really strong magic user, like Glacial. But he has Paladin subjob, which makes him really tanky. He can lower healing power, uh, and the way it works is it lowers the healing caused and the healing received by the unit. So if by some miracle your Ayaka doesn't die when Kane jumps on her, her healing will be severely crippled. And same thing, uh, even though Engelbert can tank him pretty well, Ayaka won't be able to heal him as much because of his healing power reduce attack. He has good sustain as well, and Viking subjob is really good for him, I believe. So, and like his damage is just insane. Like he, it's a UR weapon, but if Kane has access to a wind spear, he is just so powerful. Uh, Ruinstern doesn't really have a weapon like the wind spear. The wind spear, for those who don't know, gives plus 20 pierce attack, not plus 15. That's what we're used to, right? And uh, it also has like I believe 5 agility. It raises the equipper's agility. And that's a big advantage that he has over Ruinstern. Again, I'm not saying that he is uh, that Super Stern is weak or power crept or anything like that. I wouldn't say something like this in this type of situation. I take this type of statement very seriously. I don't like saying that a unit is power crept unless he or she has been really. And this is just not true. Uh, Kane is a good partner to Super Stern, and I mean, technically you can replace Super Stern with him, but they are not exactly the same type of unit. So there's that. What else? Let's move over to Rosa, which I believe is a solid A tier unit. Uh, her- keep in mind, guys, that this is a uh, PvP only tier list. I don't care about PvE with this list. Oh yeah, going back to Kane for a second, I have not pulled him. I tried really hard. If you've watched my other videos, you know I spent like 50k Visionary trying to pull for him, but unfortunately I didn't get him. But in any case, I do have a bit of experience fighting against him. Tried a few things versus him, and I feel safe putting him in that position. Rosa, she was much more uncommon, and I did her paid Vizier step up, but I also didn't get her. And I tried fighting against her, but you couldn't always find a Rosa. But from what I can understand, she is pretty good. Uh, if you're a player that somehow does not have Jesus spells or Odoa's apron, she is a fine unit because of her limit break, and she can even complement well if you are running a team that requires like more than one AP generation item and you only have one. She's a really interesting unit, and I believe her AI won't cast it if it's not for healing purposes. So you could use her as a healer that like gives a last minute boost to like the attacker's AP also, so they can do a really strong attack. So I feel comfortable putting her where she is. Again, I think she's pretty good, but she's just too niche. She has a very strong ice resist break, but you can also get that with Mediana, and Laswell can also do the same. She could be a pretty good partner for Gilgamesh. Uh, but other than that, hmm, I don't think that she is terribly strong. A strange combination of like archer and healer. Like she has access to holy and a 100% hit attack that is actually physical attack. But the fact that she's a mixed unit, I don't know. It's just so weird. I would probably use her exclusively as a breaker partner for Gilgamesh. Or maybe Agrias, because Agrias can also not break ice resistance. But like if you're running Agrias, you'd rather be running her as a tank rather than an attacker. But if you insist on running Agrias as an attacker, I think probably Rosa is one of the better teammates that you can have for her. Oh no, I'm really trying to think here. Maybe you're running Agrias with another bruiser, and like you wanna have a healer that can also like amplify the damage of one of your bruisers. Then I guess you could go with Rosa. Yeah, that's like as much as I can come up with. Sorry, Rosa. I wish you were better. You're not bad, but you're not that good. Okay, next in line. Let's talk about these two first. Uh, Christmas Mushri, I believe she's a confirm A tier unit, but that is brought up to A plus just because she's so good versus the myriad of strong ice units that there are in the game. She's a good partner to she's a good partner to a lot of wind units that are afraid of ice units because of her mobility, especially in the current arena. She can jump over the terrain and intercept ice units that might want to fuck up your wind units. So I believe that I mean, she's like borderline A plus, like at the very bottom of A plus, or like over here. Uh, Also, knowing that her EX job is really good, like is comforting. It makes me want to put her higher. She's considered like one of the best units in JP right now. But her EX job won't come to global until like the end of this year, Christmas. So maybe she's not even a plus. What do I think? I'm gonna put her like at the very top of A tier. And this is just three Orlando mains. Like she's at the top of A tier right now, in my opinion. Oh yeah, Christmas Ramadan. She's also A tier. She is really good. Like I'm gonna put her like along with Stern and Odoa, like in the middle of them. Like again, she is just water Stern, and the fact that like she's in a weird spot because there are gonna be a lot of Luarthas running around, and I'm pretty sure that she can kill Luarthas very effectively. But Frederica's probably gonna make a comeback right now, so I'm not sure where to put her. I'm gonna put her in the A tier because that's where I believe she is. I have not fought like many Christmas Ramadas like at all, and I also haven't pulled for her. I was still with the bad taste of cane in my mouth, so I didn't get her. Oops. So I'm just putting her in A tier because I know she's very similar to Stern, and that's how I still feel about Stern. Okay, next unit, I'm gonna talk about Luartha, and I think she's S tier. Uh, Luartha is like probably the best unit to fight Agrias with at the moment. Uh, of course, if you have the Lita, if you have uh, what's her name, Christmas Mushri, then yeah, you can fight. You could have fought her before, like very effectively, but Luartha is not limited, unlike those. So she is like she gets more traction because of that. Because she also is accompanied of the two gunners. Uh, like if you've seen my video where I talk about her, Lucia, and Frederica, you know that I think that's amazing design, and it makes it so easy to run double gunner. Like it is actually insanely easy to run a double gunner comp. Like if you're a new player in this game, here's what I'm gonna tell you. Run double gunner with a tank. Like that's gonna be so much easy and there's no wrong way to go about it. If you get Frederica and Lucia, it's fine. If you get Frederica and Luartha, it's fine. If you get Lucia and Luartha, it's fine. Uh, there are gameplay delicacy. No, what word should I use? There are gameplay details that make like each of these three comps different, but you shouldn't worry about them too much. uh, if you're a new player and you're starting out in the game, And if you're gonna do like re-rolling, try to chase Luartha and one of the other two gunners. Or if you don't like Luartha, you don't like her looks, try to go for Lucia and Frederica. It's gonna be amazing for both PvE and PvP. But yeah, Luartha is the first unit that can actually kill Agrias like without a lot of effort. And every other unit in the game like has that to some extent, like has a unit that, well, yeah, if you face this unit, it is really hard for you for like this specific unit to shine. For instance, Orlando, if he faces Qfei, it's very hard for him to do his thing. If Qfei faces Halloween Leela, it is very hard for her to do her thing. And of course, there are counterplay measures, both for the unit itself and for the whole team composition to fight these units. If you insist on using like on being countered, on having one of your units being countered, that's fine. There are ways to like balance it out, but Agrias kind of lack that. Uh, Her only counter was Elde and like limited units. So she kind of like had a lot of free reign. And Luartha is kind of like the end of that. In JP, she was really, really popular. I wonder how popular she's gonna be here because of Dwayne. I think he is the man of the hour right now. He is so strong. I actually got him. I pulled him, and I can say that I'm impressed. I'm gonna leave him at 89 for a while. When he comes back, I'm gonna level him again. But I do like him. I think he is super strong. Uh, for PvE, like he is really strong, like all Dark Slash units. But even for PvP, uh, I think that the fact that he has the like the AP drain is not as like as huge as some people think, just because at least like in my level, Jesus bells are just so common that he's not always hitting people, and having like uh the AP break or whatever uh be of a lot of worth. But his damage is insane. He has a dark break, which is really useful if you're using other dark units. And he also has a an AoE disable, which is a good way of fighting Agrias actually. If you're fighting like one of those Agrias that run really high faith. Same thing with Warrior Flight. Uh, he is weak to Holy, but I think he is not as weak as other characters. Uh, Perhaps he's on the same level as a mid-build Whisper, but with a much higher attack and better range. Like the other thing that he does that is extremely strong is the slash attack up buff. I think that buff is insane. And if you're running a triple slash comp, that is a really good way of getting like your damage to go even higher. And my final character is Niv'Lu, and I think she is again S tier. I'm gonna put her at the very top because I think she's gonna be one of the best characters in the game for a while. Um, the reason is she breaks barriers. Um, I can't remember right now if she can also um, lower like the hate of other tanks, because like that was a I'm sorry, that was a point of discussion for a while. She has an attack that breaks buffs, and I don't remember if she could lower the height of the tanks or not. But like just the fact that she breaks barriers, like she counters Cecil completely. She also is very strong against Agrias. Despite the elemental disadvantage, she's a really strong character to use versus Killfade just because she can break the physical barrier for her and can make her therefore more vulnerable to other physical attackers. Um, which other characters have barriers? Let me think. Every paladin with a Saintly Wall is just gonna get butt fucked. She can also break Rain's barrier, like magic barrier is also broken by her attack. I'm pretty sure. Um, Forgive me, my throat is kind of fucked up today. Um, what else? She has a very good range. She can like ignore defense for a while. What else? No, I'm gonna correct myself. She only breaks physical barriers. She does not break magic barriers. So yeah. But she removes haste and other buffs from the target, and that's just like insane utility. Like her debuff removal is also AoE. So it's like she's just insane utility, and her damage is also pretty good. Her downside is having to make another bow. Uh, if you made one for Rosa, you probably made one with high magic. But yeah, I do believe she's gonna be one of the best characters in the game for a while. The fact that she also has like Time Mage in her sub job, and I'm pretty sure she is very fast too, makes her one of the best Quicken users in the game. Um, she has Gunner sub job, so she can raise her range, and she has like a good amount of status effects that she can like inflict on the opponent, like don't act, with like aim hand, I think is the name of the attack or whatever. But yeah, she is, in my opinion, probably the best character in the game for a while. And this is now before we start changing the positions for other units. Let me say this: uh, supports in this game are really insanely strong. Uh, my top three characters, uh, like, well, this is not gonna be my top three anymore after I move it, but like, you see, like, how much I value supports. Like, there are very few pure damage dealers, like, over here, and the ones that are like are just insanely powerful. Like, the ones that, and even then, like, they offer something. You know, Kane is just pure damage, but he's just that insane. Dwayne, he offers a buff for slash attack, and he's also a tank. So like that plus his damage makes him an S tier character. Erwin Stern is kind of like Kane, but he also has a defense break and huge AoE. Gilgamesh, he has an slash resistance debuff break and also insane AoE. Wherever is he tanks or whatever, like supports. Killphase, best mage in the game. Rain is a tank. Uh, Lazo, I think his damage is also insane, so that's why he's over here. And Luartha, her damage is insane, but it's her synergy with other units that puts her in S tier and her good matchup versus Agrias. So I think people undervalue supports a lot. Um, if a unit is a good support, like he or she can elevate like any of these units, like any except for Mushri and maybe like the C tier units, like they all can be like from B tier and above, they can all be elevated into a really strong unit with the help of the correct support. So that's why I value like support so much. Now let's move on to changing units. This video is already quite long, so Wow, I thought this video was gonna be much quicker, to be honest. But yeah, let's change the units. Um, First of all, I don't think Cecil and Agrias are on the top of S tier anymore. Like maybe, I mean, Cecil, I think he's like down here, but he's still like so strong. Like he has one counter, and that like how strong he is just gonna depend on how popular Niv'Lu ends up being. Same thing with Agris. I can't really move her too much, but I still think she's the second best character in the game. And I also said that this isn't exactly in order, but it's kind of in order. Maybe like, oh, maybe it's like this or like this, but it's definitely not like this, you know. Um, I think this is the top two units in the game. Maybe actually this is the top three units in the game. I think, and like the rest is kind of in order. And yeah, but yeah, Cecil's not the best unit in the game anymore for me, just because Nivolu can now screw up his game plan, and it's not like it's the end of the world to have like your barrier broken, but if it happens, like it's like Cecil took 3,000 damage for nothing, and it's kind of sad if he casts his barrier more than once. But even if he only takes like 1,000 damage, it is still damage that you would rather not have taken. Um, I'm actually gonna place Zombie Rario here, like over here, and I'm gonna put Killfei like here, maybe here. I don't know, but like Zombie Rario is stronger right now. Uh, I think that even it is strange because even with with wind units being weaker and not wind, I'm sorry, with even with ice units being weaker and that like making room for wind units to be stronger and especially Lucia being stronger, I think that Zombie Ryu has gotten stronger uh, just because of Dwayne. Because I think Dwayne is just so strong with him. And Zombie Ryu, I don't believe that his courage and revive uh, debuffs are countered by Niv'Lu, but he looks to be very strong against her. So this is kind of speculation. Uh, Dwayne also removes revival, like Zombie Riders revive. So I might be tripping. He might still be a plus. No, actually, let's just leave him at A plus. But Qfa is definitely weaker because of this. Another thing is that like Luartha kind of raises Lucia to S tier and Frederica to A plus in my opinion. And like let's leave her here. And this makes Miranda weaker because there's gonna be more Frederica. And I think Glacial is also weaker, but I'm gonna leave her here. Uh, it's just one matchup, I believe, that might not even come around like that often. But just the fact that like these two came along, it's gonna make like Frederica and um and Lucia see a lot more play, I believe. Uh, this is another unit that can use Frederica's Dream really well. We also got a new card that's very strong for missile damage up, and Finally, I think people can stop using Kuri's card. Uh, but yeah, as I was saying, like just making sure that I get my point across. Like it is so easy to play like a double ranged unit now. Like and you, I think that Luartha, Lucia, Frederica, and Niv'Lu are gonna be such a strong core to it, like a PvP team. Again, if you're new, I think I didn't mention Niv'Lu before, but let me add that now. You can go for Luartha, any like two of these four in your account, plus a tank will be a really powerful PvP team. Like Luarth, as I said, like Luartha, Frederica, blah blah. But like you can also just swap Frederica out for Niv'Lu, uh, Niv'Lu and Luartha, and Niv'Lu and Lucia. Uh, Niv'Lu and Frederica can work, but then you'd be too vulnerable to elemental shenanigans. Like you should be really scared of Zombie Raryu and maybe even Mont should be like units that you will not be too comfortable fighting if you go for Nivlu and Frederica. But even if you do, uh, it should be fine. But yeah, like this shifts the meta again back to like some strength into missile attackers, and I think that's really cool. Um, well, yeah, let me address Orlando because in my last video, like everyone was either saying that they think Cecil's weak or that they think I'm crazy for rating Orlando this low. But let me say this, I'm not saying Orlando is a bad unit. Actually I think he is really strong, but I do not think he's better than any of these units, with the exception of her. I'm gonna lower her here. But I think that other than her, like Orlando is like weaker than any of those. I would rather have any of those units than Orlando in my team. And I'm gonna explain again. I don't think he's weak. He is very strong. He can still like brute force his way into a lot of PvE content, but in PvP he's just like expected. Like everyone is always like, yeah, I have a counter to Orlando. Like even Mont is a good unit against him. And again, I'm not saying he is weak. Like I don't know how many times I have to say this because in my last video I thought I was pretty clear, but it's just that people always expect him. They're always building slash resistance. He doesn't have a way to break slash resistance. He only has a way to break defense, which his best counters aren't really building. They're mostly building slash resistance or having like lightning resistance. And even though defense is a way to amplify his damage and is very good against units that aren't specifically building for him, everyone specifically builds to counter him. I don't think he's power crept or oh no behind the meta. He again in PvP he works just fine, but he's not the best anything. He has good tools, yeah, sure, but the defense break and his big range, like they aren't gonna beat a lot of the things that people are throwing at him. Again, I don't hate Orlando. I think he's a fine unit, and I haven't pulled for him. Uh, but like, geez, guys, let it go. You know, you don't need to be personally offended if I don't think Orlando is that strong. Like a lot of people were like, yeah, well, if I face you in an arena or in a match battle, you would see how strong my Orlando is. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't because I run double Earth units, and that's the end of Orlandu. And you could say that every unit has a counter. Yeah, that's true. That's true. If I rolled up to match battle with with a counter to Kane, guess what? Even Kane, which I believe is the top 3 unit in the game, wouldn't be able to do anything. But like, I don't know, man. I just don't think that there's a lot that is scared of Orlando that much anymore. Like most attackers versus most attackers, it's kind of like a speed contest. And he is speedy, but like I think most of these guys can outspeed him, of these attackers at least, or outrange him, or out AoE him. Um, and he does not offer like much else other than a defense break. Again, it is useful, it is strong, but in a PvP team, I just would rather have any of these guys because they can offer much more to the other units. What else? Who else do I want to change in this list? Um, Glacial is probably weaker. I guess I'm just gonna like give this just because of Niv'Lu and Frederica becoming like way more popular. But she's not weak by any means. She's still like really strong versus like other slashing units. She's like the strongest counter to slash units, I believe, just because of like how much damage she deals in a damage type that's hard to resist, and an element that like a lot of people don't have, like water resist uh, built. So I think that she is still like S tier, like comfortably. She's just a bit weaker than she was before. Frevia, I moved her down here. I just think that with Luartha, her niche, like the niche teams that were afraid of her can just like remove one member and put Luartha in if they insist on fighting her, or if they're afraid of Frevia in guild battle, which is uncommon, but whatever, right? Uh, Let me think. Is there anyone else? She moved up because of Luartha and Nivolu coming out. Yeah, said that. Actually, I think this guy's S tier right now. It's probably over here. He has a lot of utility, and now that again more fight units have come out to like make ice units a bit more scared, I think you can run Hallet a bit more comfortably. And I guess this is it, guys. I hope you guys have found like this to be informative enough. And I hope that in the future, uh, we get uh, we get more like global exclusive units or global first, because it is really interesting to see what happens to a unit that is released here without like our prior knowledge, because so much of this tier list is kind of biased because of JP, and like Niv'Lu, she hasn't even come out yet, but I already think she's S tier. This is the first time I've done this. I mean, this is only my second tier list, but uh, I I was actually thinking if I was gonna like put her in the tier list right now or not. Uh, but I decided for it just because she was a unit that I didn't play with her, but I watched a lot about her when she was released in JP, because she was a unit that I really liked. I think I was building Frederica at the time, and I was like, should I really build Fred or should I wait for her? In the end, I decided to build Fred anyway, but I, I mean, I don't regret it, but I still think Niv'Lu is a top tier unit, one that I am unfortunately going to skip because I am waiting for another unit that I am really excited for. So I think this is gonna be it, guys. I hope also that your favorite unit got to be considered strong, and if your favorite unit like is below where you thought it was, let me know why I'm wrong. Except if it is Orlando, please, guys. I'm just kidding. But yeah, let me know if you think that I'm wrong about your favorite unit. If you think that I put a unit that sucks way too high, also let me know. Please be respectful in the comments. I try to be really respectful to other players' opinions, and not only opinions but experiences when I make this type of video. Because uh, like I got kind of salty when I saw like a lot of people shitting on Cecil. Uh, but yeah, uh, I try to be really respectful. So please try to not be too rude with me in the comments if I said like that your unit is low tier or whatever. So yeah, this is gonna be it for today. See you guys next time. In my next video, I think I'm gonna do a show and tell video. My account has progressed quite a lot since my last video. So yeah, see you guys there. Bye bye.